Fellas, I don't think y'all really realize how suspect and how sassy y'all look. Because a lot of you troll women for being a single mom, as if they just the scum of the earth, just all to be damned. You troll women for being successful, having a decent career, as if they should be penalized for their success. They're deemed as too masculine, too independent, and it doesn't create space for you to step up and feel needed. You shame women 30, 35, or 40 that happen to be single in a way where it's like, well, something wrong with her. She shouldn't be single at this age. She hit the wall. Ha ha. That's corny. Or you shame women that's young in their prime because now you got to question their faithfulness or their loyalty. Man, she probably gonna use you, man. She probably just want the bag. She probably just set you up. What do you like, fellas? What do you want? Because it damn sure don't sound like you want a woman. So you got to ask yourself, do you really want to be with a woman? Or do you really need to figure this thing out for your sexuality? Because that's ungodly sassiness from a lot of men that I see today.
No, it's not. Brother, let me tell you something. He's lack of understanding. His lack of understanding, because it's not men criticize women, or it's the theory behind this and where it stemmed from when men started speaking up against promiscuous behavior, single motherhood, um, what's the other one? Masculinity. It was because those women will go around trying to undermine average brothers. That's where it stemmed from. Those women would act as if they were virgins, no children, very feminine. They was trying to take the place of those women. The women that said, you know what, I'm going to be a wife. I'm going to be a virgin. I'm going to save myself for a man. Though they were trying to take the place of those women by putting average men down. We already know about deadbeat ass dudes, dudes that is below average, which means you don't really take care of yourself. You do bullshit. You live life at a bare minimum or below a bare minimum. But the average guys, when they started speaking to the average guy, that's when men said, whoa, that's enough. Who do you think you are? Look at yourself. You already been sleeping with men, or you got a roster that's 2 miles long, or men don't want to be around you because you're too damn masculine and you want to control everything. And when I'm talking about you don't need a man, it was only until then that's when men started really speaking out against women. So I don't even like where he's going talking about men or questioning men's sexuality. They ain't got shit to do with it.
I think maybe you are trying to defend something that is old school, old age. You're trying to defend that because that might have been where it stemmed from. But he's talking about the new age men. And you can agree with him that some new age men are very sassy. They're taking on the roles of being more feminine. So the women have to step and be up being masculine. He's talking about today era, the way they're dating, the way they're acting. And so therefore he's saying, do y'all really know what y'all want? Who are y'all? Because of the way that they are acting. You see it so much now. The women are proposing to the men. The women are doing, you see all these clips and skits about the women actually being the one and the men dressing up in the women clothes. So I think he's talking to the new era man, more or less not the change man back in the days that you're speaking of. He's talking about right now, here and now, that how the guys act. They don't know what they want with a woman. They want her to be submissive. They want her to be they want her not to be masculine. They want her to chase the bag. I want a bad bitch, or I want a woman. We can be a power couple. So make up your mind. What do you want? Do you want her to be submissive and be at home with you and you know how to lead? Or do you want a woman that's out there making money and hustling as hard as you do? Because when she has to step into that role and wear that hat, she's not going to submit to you at home. She's not going to be this feminine woman that you're looking for. So you got to say what it is that you want. And half of them are running around dressing and you think they're straight up, and they're not straight guys. They're messing with guys and they're doing all kinds of things. You already know this. So it's hard to tell what the men of today want. And then they project this all on the woman when they unclear about what they want.
Well, he's saying to me, he's trying to tell us about men that's denigrating women that fit into these categories. And my rebuttal is the reason why men got in such an uproar was because those women were trying to put themselves into a space where they didn't necessarily belong, and they was trying to denigrate men saying that basically if you're not on a 1 or 2% level, 1 or 2% of men, which is the men that's very successful, tall, athletic type, then you're basically dusty. And men started fighting back on that kind of talk. That's basically what. So if men is fighting back, and men is disputing what you're saying or pushing back, that doesn't mean that they are sassy. Now, I'm not gonna say that the sassiness is starting to show a whole lot in this modern age, because these dudes is real soft out here. This is soft era out here. But I will say this: there's still some average guys that's out here that's in the corporate world. They also in the blue collar world. That's just our average guys. They don't make the 6-figure, but they do above average. But well, I think he's trying to, say, well, if you're going, you talk about the single mothers, you talk about the promiscuous behavior, and you talk about the masculinity, you don't even want a woman. No, that's not it. We're just calling out behavior. That's basically what we're doing. Simple as that.
In calling out behavior, what are you saying when you're calling out that behavior? Because those women are sleeping with some men. So we start to go to the tit for tat, or we start to go to men versus women. And I think that's the problem that we have in this society today. Rather than we coming together, collectively as adults and learning how to love each other, we've gotten so far away from that, even in our music, in the way that we approach relationships, that now we get this situation where we are actually going at each other, to figure out who's the worst, or who's the one who's messing it up, or who's the one who's making it bad. And that's what I think he's trying to say. It's like we keep saying all these negative things about the women. Then what are we going to do? Where are we going to find any women if everything you find about a woman is negative? Do you actually want a woman?
Well, what about from when Cosmo, when the magazine Cosmo started? What was that, in the early 80s? And then all these talk shows went on for decades. They were all talk shows with women denigrating men for many, many years. The whole thing was men this, all men cheat. Do they cheat? Do they do this? Or they're abusive. They're this, they're that. And I would say within the last 5 to 6 years, since the 5 to 6 years, men have started to pop up with podcasts and shows of their own to basically to defend themselves. That's basically what it's been, because the woman empowerment movement started a long time ago. And that was the reason. And now when the guys push back, it's okay. Well, we need to stop going back and forth. Well, you can stop doing that if you stop trying to make yourself make men out to be a certain way and make yourself more than what you are. And that's not that doesn't go for most of the women. I'm not going to even say most women out here. It's just a certain section of women that think that, hey man, I can go put on makeup, lipstick, and I can recreate myself. And in the time that I'm recreate myself, I can downgrade you. I can denigrate you because I'm better than you. Instead of just leaving that shit alone, put on your makeup, put on your lipstick, do whatever you gotta do to be beautified, and just move on about your business. And okay, nice guy, date the nice guy. Don't shut up here and try to downgrade everybody else because you think you deserve a man that's quote unquote a high value man. And that's the problem with most men.
I don't think this is the way I see things. I think some men became more defensive about it, and this is the way the rule of thumb to me in life, and I've always looked at it. If something doesn't apply to you, why are you on attack? Because see, these women were doing that because these were the kind of men that they were coming in contact with. And so if you come in contact with those type of men, then you're going to have those type of experience. But I think the men who were on the other side, who were good men, started to feel like it was their job to defend what's going on. It was up to them to start defending, you know, all men. And these women were talking about their experience, about what they were experiencing.
Well, maybe the men were talking about their experiences.
And so, and maybe they were, I don't know, but we still get to this point where we have women who are being told they don't know their self-worth, that they need to increase their standards, and that all men are cheap. And these are not messages that women are just sending. Men send those messages to women. You know, you look at all these podcasts and men tell you, you a damn fool if you think you got a nigga that ain't cheating. Is he gay? A man will tell you that. So men want us to believe that none of y'all are good. Because if a woman's standard is she want a man that's not going to cheat, men are saying all men cheat. So what are we supposed to do with that? So it becomes this back and forward. Like we're supposed to accept it. So the good woman accepts a cheating man and closes her eyes to a cheating man, and she moves forward. That's what makes her good. Long suffering, long endurance. When he does all these negative things, she stay there and she take it, and that makes her a good woman. And then when a man is ready to be a good man and stop all these things, she'll have an end product that's a good man. No, you can't. These messages are all over the place.
Well, not really. They right on point, because at this point he mentioned a certain section of women, and now you come to the defense of a certain section of women. That this is a certain section of women that he talking about: single mothers, promiscuous women, and masculine women. Now he's not talking about the feminine woman that does what she's supposed to do. He ain't mentioned her. So, but you're defending those type of women. That's what I'm saying. Those are the women that we're talking about. We're not talking about the other one, because quite frankly, most of them are married. To be honest with you, most of them have somebody, and they ain't complaining. You don't see them online complaining. It's always these ones online telling people what kind of man they deserve, telling them what kind of man they're not going to deal with. It's always those kind. And that's and those are the women who are always being chastised, or men always find the need to put them in their quote unquote place.
And those women are getting that from the men that sit on the podcast and tell them they need to raise their standards. They need to do more. They need to have better standards. So if you're telling a woman that her trying to work with a man at a certain level is her fault, that this man has treated her a certain way and she needs to raise her standard, then to a woman, when you say raise my standards, that means I need to do what I need to do to get a more higher value man. That's what men are saying these things. It's not the women that are saying these things. These men are keep telling women that they have no standards, that their standards are too low.
Yeah, depend on what situation is, your standards might be too low.
Just depends.